All right, let's see if we are on. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Black Think Tank. This is Friday, July 20th. Make Money Friday. Before I say that, I would like to say all thoughts expressed in this video are personal thoughts. Please do not take this as personal advice. If you need to contact a financial advisor, please go to cfp.net. There, I'll show you all now. cfp.net. There you can click up in the upper right corner where it says find a CFP professional, and you can click here and put your city, state, and zip code and find a certified financial planner professional near you. So with that said, today should be a good show. We got a couple things, couple points for us today that run from stocks to cryptos and a few things in between. Well, let's get started. We got a new guest today, Preem. I'm sure he's going to drop he has a few, I'm sure he has some few good thoughts about some of the topics we're going to go over tonight. Excuse me. So with that said, let's jump into it. Our first topic is from CNBC. Goldman Sachs backed startup Circle introducing a crypto version of the US dollar. All right. Fintech company Circle is looking to make a better, faster digital version of the US dollar. The Goldman Sachs backed startup announced a new cryptocurrency pegged to the dollar and a 110 million investment round led by a profitable crypto mining company, Bitmain, which brings Circle's value near $3 billion, the company announced Tuesday. It unlocks an incredible amount of power for the dollar, said Jeremy Allaire, CEO of Circle. It's basically a dollar that operates on blockchain. Circle is one of the most well-funded blockchain startups, with investors including Goldman Sachs Group and Baidu. The fintech company operates its peer-to-peer payment network using blockchain, a technology that underpins Bitcoin. Circle's new USD coin is meant to solve a key problem in digital currencies use cases: volatility. Critics, including Stan Druckenmiller, have said cryptocurrencies can't be used as a means of payments because their value changes so often and so rapidly. Bitcoin, for example, has been marked by volatility in the past 12 months and has dropped by more than 50% since its high near $20,000 in December, according to CoinDesk. Circle customers will be required to hold $1 for every USD coin, keeping the price stable. Other companies such as Tether and Basis also have offered stable coins with a value tied to the US dollar. But Allaire said there's a need for a complaint alternative to Tether, which has a 2.2 billion market cap, according to CoinMarketCap. When I look at the convergence of traditional finance in the crypto space, it's begging for that, Allaire said to a room full of journalists. There are a number of banks who are excited about it and will support it. Once US dollars are transferred to Circle USD coins, Allaire said they can be moved within seconds thanks to blockchain technology. He said they will eventually add tokens for the euro and pound, but it's less likely they'll immediately look to pick most Asian currencies because of existing competition in that arena. The framework for the coin is what's called open source, meaning multiple developers can work on the project and help its development. The USD coin project is being developed by an organization called Center, which will provide independent oversight of Circle's offering. Bitmain, best known as a crypto mining company, is leading a $110 million strategic investment in Circle, which the company said brings its valuation close to $3 billion. The funding round also includes existing investors such as Briar Capital, Tusk Ventures, IDG Capital, Pantera, and Blockchain Capital. Bitcoin mining requires use of special software to solve math problems in exchange for a certain number of bitcoins. Bitmain dominates that mining industry and likely made as much as chipmaker Nvidia did last year. Bernstein analysts estimate that Bitmain made 3 billion to 4 billion in operating profit in 2017. The USD coin is being run on a blockchain known as Ethereum, but Allaire said they're open-minded about other platforms if any come to market that can outperform. Ethereum is the best bet, but it's not necessarily the end game, he said. For now, it's specifically on Ethereum. Circle is one of the leaders in over-the-counter Bitcoin trading markets and acquired cryptocurrency exchange Poloniex in February. All right, 2 quick points about this. Well, a few points actually. One is this brings somewhat stability to the market since a big whale. I'm sure Dollar Will, if he's in, when he comes on, he can attest to this. He always says Goldman Sachs is the whale of all whales. So they're bringing a stable currency to the market. And what that says to me, yes, cryptocurrencies are volatile. They have 10, 15% swings within days, within a single day, within maybe a single hour. If a person wants to sell their position in any cryptocurrency, they can sell their position and convert their gains or even losses to this USD coin and cash out, since they have to have $1 US to every one USD coin they have. So it brings some type of stability to the market, and that can invite a lot of people to the market, which I like. Plus, with Goldman Sachs, it puts in people's minds, okay, I can trust Goldman Sachs. They've been in the business for, I think, over 100 years. Now, the other thing I want to point out is it's on the Ethereum blockchain, and they said Ethereum is the best currently right now, the best blockchain right now. And it's not the end game. What that says to me again is if another currency comes out with a better blockchain, let's say EOS says, and as time goes on, we find out EOS's blockchain is better than Ethereum's blockchain. They can go to EOS, and if another coin come out with their blockchain better than EOS, so it's a steady, gradual uptick of better blockchains. That's why we said weeks ago we could be potentially looking at trillion-dollar blockchains in the future. So I think it was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot right now. So that's why I want to point out with this. Anybody else?
I mean, usually when you see that many companies get on board, what they don't really tell you is that this is more about advertising purposes. You have these these press conferences or these events, and you see the little billboard in the back where people take pictures, and you see the little advertisements of different companies on there. That's really just a cheap way of advertising your company involved in the in that line of business. So seeing that IDG and a few other Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000 companies pitched in on this in terms of getting on board, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have any true traction. I mean, it's the way the crypto market is working right now. I don't see any difference between this and some of the other brokerages that have been popping up lately.
Okay.
Now, Ethereum is a stable blockchain technology, but it's also an aging blockchain technology as well, because it uses smart contract 1.0, and that's where EOS comes in with smart contract 2.0, and decentralization of apps, so DApps.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how Circle goes. And just for reference, Circle is actually right down the street from my house.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
startup.
All right. I see we got a Dollar Will come in. I think he heard me
Yeah,
call his name.
yeah, how y'all
Hey,
doing,
what's going on,
fellas?
brother? What's going on?
Going
I
on?
have to say, I hate to say this, but I missed your breakdown of that article, and all I'm judging you from is by the headline. So, judging from that headline, am I reading that correctly? That there's going to be a crypto that's essentially going to track the movement of the U.S. dollar?
Yes. It's they're talking about introducing their own coins called the U.S. dollar, and a person has to have one actual dollar to match the. It's a one for one. That's what I'm trying to say.
So basically, I could go from a crypto to the U.S. dollar and then back, no, not the U.S. dollar, the U.S. dollar crypto, and then
Yes.
back to that's. Let me tell you, as a trader, that's what we were talking about last week, and when I said that's that's a problem or a deterrent for, let me say, for me to trade cryptos directly right now, because I need something that can function as a hedge against it. And they seem to trade opposite the dollar. And so moving to Bitcoin, okay, when you have cryptos that are all, like, for example, is there any is I don't believe there's any crypto that is positive on the year, correct?
I'm not for sure on top of my head. I can't answer that right now.
Yeah, I believe that they all correlate very strongly with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is down, and I would need to check it, but I presume they're all down. So jumping from what is that sound?
No, that was my phone. I was trying to stop it.
Oh, okay, that moving from one falling crypto to another falling crypto doesn't help. So being able to move to let's say a dollar coin that's either rising or going sideways, that would allow someone to stay in the crypto space by jumping from the dollar coin back and forth from the dollar coin to other cryptos. I think that's huge. When you start talking about the whales coming in it, they're looking at it in that same way I'm looking at it. Like, you don't want to have a lot of resources trapped in the crypto space and they all falling, and you want to be able to quickly get out and go back in. You don't want to move from coin to coin. There are times when you don't want to be in the crypto space at all. And
Hmm.
so that dollar coin creates something that might function like a hedge, meaning that it'll move opposite Bitcoin. And so you'll have to, if you pick the direction, so you can go from one of the cryptos that's falling to the dollar, and then when the crypto looks like it's rising, you abandon the dollar coin. Let me be clear, the dollar coin, and then you'll be able to jump back to the crypto when you think it's rising. So now that makes it's going to get a lot of, let me say, experienced traders are going to really like this. So that's just
I,
going to be one more explanation for why I think this volume and cryptocurrency trading is going to go off the charts.
And Mike, before you say something, I'm going to read this one sentence to him because I know he didn't hear the article. This one sentence says, once U.S. dollars are transferred to Circle's USD coins, this person on there said they can be moved within seconds thanks to blockchain technology.
Awesome.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
no, I was just gonna say, I don't know if if the market can take another coin at this point. Um, it just seems just one too many coins in the market, and the top 10 coins that are moving right now are actually people have already invested into it. So how do you, I guess from an investment standpoint, bringing on another coin just seems like you're kind of just crashing the party.
Well, this is not another in function. Okay, you said the word investing, and I'm saying the word trading, and it's the different approaches there is the key. As a trader, we're not loyal to anything. We're not fans of any of it. We don't care. We will for whatever makes money. We're from the church of what's happening now. We look at the environment, including the charts, and we make a decision. We don't root for price to go up or down. We get on what's trending up. And I think that practice you saw in the past of people moving from the various cryptocurrencies to the block to Bitcoin, that's going to end. The move is going to be to go from your various cryptos to this dollar coin, and then back to the crypto. So I hear what you're saying, that there are too many cryptos, and you're probably right. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing more important in that space than having that U.S. coin. So when it's time to thin out the crypto space, that dollar coin won't be the one to go. That's up. It's going to be. Watch the volume in that dollar coin match or exceed crypto. It's going to. I can't imagine that there'll be another coin with a greater market cap than that dollar coin.
Might have to change your name from dollar will to dollar coin.
There you go. DC. Hey, that's a good one. DC.
I'm excited about that. So yeah, the big money is here now. Big money is here, and they're setting up like I said, that hedge situation with the dollar coin versus the cryptos, because they know this is how traders, this is how we think. This is what we're looking for. We don't hodl. We don't do that mess. Okay. We don't hodl. We get on and get with what's happening. We're not loyal to any particular investment.
First, I want to say hello to Anti-Gravity. What's going on? How you doing today?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
All right. Preem, did you have any comments on that article?
No. Did you hear the discussion that we were having? Do you have any comment on it?
No, I missed it. Which article were you guys talking about?
Yeah, they said that he just read an article that basically said that they're creating a U.S. dollar crypto coin.
What is it going to be backed by? Is it backed by anything?
Yes. You have to have. It's a one for. You know what? Let me read specifically what they said. I can find the sentence. I don't want to.
It'll be one U.S. dollar per one coin.
Yeah, Circle customers will be required to hold $1 for every USD coin, keeping the price stable. So it's going to be backed by the US dollar.
Okay.
So that means it's essentially going to mirror whatever the current value of the US dollar is. That's going to be the value of that coin.
Yeah, this is when all the establishment players come in.
Oh yeah. This is great news. This is great news for everyone.
It sounds like you're smiling over there, dog.
Oh, I am, man. I'm wiping my ears out, man. I'm smiling so big.
Personally, I wouldn't hold any of those, but that's just me.
Any other US dollar coin?
That US dollar coin, no.
Oh no, it's not an investment.
No way.
Oh no, I wouldn't hold it as an investment. I would hold it if I need. Yeah, just as a hedge. If I need.
So the whole thing is, so why? And I'm not saying this in contention. I'm saying this as a curious observer that's trying to learn. Why would it not be held as an investment?
Okay. Let me put in the context of my long-term thesis. I don't see any value in cryptocurrencies at all at this moment. In this particular moment, because the dollar is strong. The dollar's strength is going in, okay, and then it's going to continue its death spiral. That's the situation that will set up demand for cryptocurrencies, and that's when you're going to see the prices settle down. You're going to see all these declines stop in these cryptos. So when that situation comes about, I will see what happens with prices. They don't go straight up or straight down. They kind of ebb and flow like a wave, like an ocean wave. So let's say the crypto has a huge run up, and us chart readers, we have our theories about when it needs to pull back a little bit. If I know that the crypto is set, the setup is there clear that on the charts and it's going to pull back, maybe 20-30%. Then I don't want to be holding it. in that period. So I would move to the dollar if it looks like the dollar is not slated to fall much, and I would hide out in that dollar coin until the crypto finishes quote correction, and then I get back in it.
So the whole purpose of this, and there's no way I could even get a glimmer of understanding of this crypto thing in an evening. So excuse part of me here.
Oh no. This is how we get down, man. We all helping each other, trying to understand.
Yeah, no worries.
Respect. So the whole purpose of this whole crypto thing was to say, hey, we're not the dollar, and that's what the whole crypto thing was for, generally speaking. But then these guys are coming and say, hey, for you cats who are like, they're just like 10 toes down about that dollar, we got something for you. We've got a crypto that's pegged to the dollar, so go ahead and come on in. But that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the initial reason of having crypto in the first place.
Not
necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily. Crypto is meant to be anonymous, decentralized. All these buzzwords that you hear, meant to be borderless. So I can send somebody some money in Kenya or in India within minutes or seconds. Now,
Right.
what Dollar Will is saying, with the crypto market being volatile, is very volatile.
Mhm.
With the USD coin coming in, it's supposed to be stable. So as an investor, as Dollar Will is, say, okay,
Trader.
Trader. I apologize, trader. I got my things mixed up. Dollar Will is a trader. So let's say Bitcoin. Bitcoin can swing $400 in a day within a couple of hours. That's not unheard of. So let's say Dollar Will, this USD coin is in the market right now. Dollar Will buy some USD coin. Bitcoin drops $400 or $500. And he been watching the charts. Okay, he put his money in Bitcoin. The next day it goes up $800. Okay, he's fine. He watching the charts. He know, well, it went up too high. It's gonna come back a little bit. So he take his $800 gain, bring it back to the USD coin because it's paired to a dollar. To the US dollar, it's 1-to-1. So it's not gonna go 3, 4, 5, 8% like Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrency. So if it is hedging him, it's more of like, say, the stock market. When you sell your AT&T or Coca-Cola, you get US dollars. Same thing with crypto. When you sell your Ethereum, Litecoin, or Bitcoin, you get USD coin. That's all it is.
It would be better to compare it to a bond, like that.
Going from one highly volatile instrument to something that should be less volatile.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so he just basically gonna go ahead and park it over there until the storm passes.
Right. You hit the nail right on the head with that one.
And not only will you be buying or re-entering into your crypto at a lower price, you will have all the money that you had when it was at the high price.
All your gains.
So you increase in the amount that you're able to buy.
Right. Well, that's the trading end. But as for like the general use of why some institutions would want to get into it, is primarily because of the volatility. So they want something stable, so that maybe they can, peg other cryptocurrencies to, or maybe they can use it as like a basket to keep down the volatility. It's something to that effect. That's what they were thinking about using it for.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. That's important to know what Noah is explaining. That
Wait, hold on.
We have different motivations on this panel. I'm the trader. I just want to make the money.
Stop the show. Stop the show. Is that who I think it is?
No,
Young
it is not.
Is that who I think it is?
So, I heard y'all was talking about money, so I had to join.
He makes an appearance. Good to see you.
Right. How you doing today?
Good night, brothers. Good night.
All right.
How y'all doing? I'm good. Appreciate you.
Now let's go and get to this next topic. This next topic comes from CoinDesk, July 9th by Wolfie Zhao. FINRA wants to know all about member firms' crypto activities. A U.S. self-regulatory body for broker-dealers is requesting member firms to submit a wide range of details relating to their cryptocurrency-focused activities. I feel like I read this before. In a regulatory notice issued on Friday, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, or FINRA, said the requested information will supplement its existing efforts to ascertain the extent of its member firms' involvement in the nascent space. According to the notice, FINRA wants to know if a member firm has been or will be trading cryptocurrency, accepting it from customers. Didn't I read this before?
I think
Accept,
you did.
yeah, it sounds familiar. I may have put a past article back on the docket. Accepting it from customers, managing a pool crypto fund, participating in a token sale, or offering advice on any crypto related topic. Also notably, cryptocurrency mining, uh, earning rewards for participating as a. Yeah, I read this before. I read this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and.
Well, we can summarize without even reading it. That's not. It's common, in the investment world where people, anybody dealing with the general public, they have to know what meaning the employer, they got to know what you're invested in. So you're not like steering people. So it's up to you, your decision. That's the information that you're providing is not biased. Put it that way.
And that has to do with like actual firms that are like financial investors that are not.
From what I remember, that article, it was about people who people giving financial advice, right, Lionel?
It was
Oh,
about
okay,
people that
right.
work for the specific government that's involved in the cryptocurrency space or receive any type of money from the cryptocurrency investments.
Right.
Okay, well, let's go to any other points on that one. All right.
Just your
Were you
normal
guys just talking?
disclosure.
Sorry to go backwards, but were you guys just talking about Tether or TUSD
No, it was
or USDT, I should say?
Goldman Sachs their company Circle is gonna introduce a coin tethered to the US dollar, a stable coin called the US dollar coin.
Oh, but that's the same thing Tether does, but probably actually has the money to back it up.
Yeah, Tether does.
Tether's.
Go ahead,
Okay.
break it down.
Yeah, basically Tether does the same thing, but the only thing with Tether is they haven't even proven that for every USDT that is out there or in circulation that there actually is that money in since kind of like old school treasury notes where you could just take it and redeem it for gold, like when we were on the gold standard. Like you can't really do that with USDT, or it's a bubble. So they can print as much of these coins as they want, and in the cryptocurrency space, it actually has a value of $1, and this is pegged to the dollar. So it doesn't fluctuate, but it offers that stability that Goldman Sachs is doing. Like the only thing with Goldman Sachs is if they do it, they should be under regulation that, well, possibly I don't think there's really any regulation there for it, but one, they should be under regulation, and two, they more than likely have the money more than the other company that did USDT. I think it's Bitfinex that actually creates or mints USDT.
Under some kind of indictment or something? Not an indictment.
I believe
something.
They were on audits, right? They were under audits, or they had a company that came in and did the audits for them, and they fired the company after a while. I sent the article to you guys because
I read it.
There was, and that was like a really really good Medium article on that, and that guy and that person who
definitely.
Yeah,
if you check their white
like
paper,
BitConnect level.
They say, not the white paper. I think on their website they say
their website.
It may be redeemable for $1, but they have like
right.
the option of denying you.
Right. The thing is, the only way you're gonna get that is if you like. There's only like two ways you can get it. You either do it through their exchange and exchange it, or you convert that to another crypto and do it. Excuse me, and then you go through the usual ACH channels and get your money in your bank account. But for instance, like before the cat crash in January and everything like that, I would take my entire portfolio, convert it to USDT, ride out the storm, and then come back in during all of this Red Sea that we've been having for months now, and buy up everything cheap.
Now you had
Kind of
to
like,
go. Did you go straight from your crypto to USDT, or did you have to go to Bitcoin first to get there?
you usually always have to go through some entry, some gateway crypto. So Bitcoin has been that gateway crypto, especially for Americans through Coinbase.
So how long did that process take you?
Oh, seconds, really. I mean,
Oh,
it just takes as long as it takes for, the transfer. So Bitcoin would take maybe sometimes 15, 30 minutes at the most, if that, because of just network workload. And then you would go to an exchange that has USDT pair, or a BTC to USDT pair. So Cryptopia had that,
Like
a myriad
Binance
of
has.
Binance, Bitfinex,
so
and
it
then
could
you would just
take you
trade.
what, a half hour?
If that, I mean, honestly, it's supposed to be instant, but it just depends on what goes on in the network. But
No,
you
I'm
can
talking
do
about you said it could take a half hour to get it to Bitcoin to transfer it to Bitcoin.
well, when I say transfer it to Bitcoin, that's like you taking your BTC. So, for instance, if you were just to chain it together, you have your account, you transfer your money from your account to your Coinbase account. So you can do that through debit or ACH. If you do ACH, that's going to take maybe 7 days, right? But if you do debit the instant way, it takes a second, and that's pretty much instant. Um, and then you take your BTC, but you can't. There is no BTC to USDT pair on Coinbase. So you have to transfer that BTC to some other exchange. That transfer of the BTC to the other exchange, that can take up to 30 minutes. I've seen an hour or more, but that's just due to network load. That's like, for instance, you at a 15-minute drive or a 30-minute drive from Miami, from my house to Miami, might be 30 minutes without any traffic at 1 o'clock at night, but during high traffic times and rush hour, or high network load in this case, then it's going to take 2 hours and you're going to run out of gas, like stuff
So
like that.
if you have, let's say, Ripple,
Hmm.
and you want to get to USDT,
Right.
that give what? How long? How much time are we talking?
That would take less time because the
I mean, are we
XRP.
talking 2 minutes or 30 minutes? I'm just trying to
Yeah,
get it.
it might be like 2 minutes. Again, it all depends on network load, but
Okay.
those coins are faster. Um, like now, like what's the speed of XRP? It's usually, I know it's instant, but like high load. Have you seen anything? Because you're probably a lot more in tune
I
with
mean,
the market than I am.
you've answered pretty much what I wanted to know. Because if we talking an hour, something like
Nah,
that.
Nah.
less time. Like it only takes that long for BTC, and even less time for LTC, but that's only because of network load.
Yeah, because like you said, BTC is the gateway. It's the coin everybody every when you selling, that's what you sell into. And
Hmm.
also, if you have a plethora of coins in your portfolio,
So,
trend. Go ahead, bring.
so now I have a question. So then this article you just read about the what was that, Coinbase, the first one? Was it Coinbase? Let
Uh,
me see.
Goldman Sachs.
Uh, yeah, the Goldman Sachs Circle, the Circle place. So the Circle coin that was back, one Circle, whatever, is that Circle coin? Is that what it was called?
The company is called Circle. The coin is called USD coin.
Okay, so the USD coin is like one of those for one US dollar, and the thinking is, okay, when things get volatile in the crypto, you park it there, you ride up the storm, and then you go back into the crypto. So what's their advantage? Because it sounds like for the last 5 minutes that you can take it from crypto to a dollar within minutes or an hour, and you're going to have cash money, what I'm saying, liquid right there. So what would be the advantage of going and parking it there to just get back and re-enter the whole crypto space? Is it the fees that you would incur if you transferred it all the way to cash money versus just taking it into that crypto that's backed by the USD? What is their advantage? Why would someone go there versus just getting all the way out and then coming all the way back in?
Well, the allure right now is okay with Tether. Tether is a big question mark, and a lot of people don't know about Tether. But if let's say this USD coin gets implemented on all major exchanges. Right now, you can't cash out into cold hard cash except for Coinbase on and Gemini on all major chains. So say you on Binance, and Binance is the largest, most popular exchange out there, and you got 15 coins that you invested in on Binance, and it's sitting in your Binance wallet right now. And all of a sudden, you get some information that say, "Oh, the market may go down." Bad information. Everybody starts selling. You say, "Well, I want to sell high because I won't lose no money." So, bam, you lose money, and now, well, bam, you sell your coins, and now you all of a sudden got Bitcoin. Well, that's no good because Bitcoin is going down. So you have to have something to park your money into as a hedge. But since you got all your money on Binance, you can't sell that Bitcoin to cash to dollars because it doesn't allow that. But if USD coin was on Binance, you can sell all your coins into this USD coin because it's tied one to one with the dollar. So now you got all your money into this USD coin, and the market just went down 15 to 25%. And all of a sudden you hear, oh well, the bad news was FUD. Somebody just called it FUD, but the market is still down. So now you get all your money you in this USD coin. You say, well, if it's just FUD, somebody just talking rumors, it's not true. Let me bap all my coins on this head at an even low price plus some. So that's the point that
it's a
having
safe
a USD
space.
coin, right? It's
Yeah.
safe.
I see. Yeah, and also keep in mind it's different. Everybody in the market doesn't think the same way or trade according to the same strategy. You got some people are long term, if you want to say investors, or they hodl or whatever. And then you have some people that are more day trader in their approach. And then you got people that's right in between. That's the swing traders. And so for the people that are trading, sort of like looking at it on a day by day or every 2 to 3 days, this coin is important to them.
So metaphorically speaking, it's like when the shit hits the fan, all you want to do is pretty much stop the bleeding. So
right,
yeah. Okay,
so I think where they
okay.
Dollar will correct me. Is this the term called a stopgap? Would be the proper term for this?
I've never heard it used in this context, but yeah, I understand what a stopgap is. Yes, it could be a stopgap.
I
think
it'd
be like I guess way to. Oh, go ahead.
Go for it, Noah.
Okay, the best way to describe it is if you guys ever had like a Forex account or any trading account, once you debit your money, it goes into kind of their system, right? And that's like the baseline. And then from there, you buy into stocks or you buy into currencies. And then when you sell it, it goes back to your account. So that's kind of the way they're thinking about it as this coin. You put your money either through ACH or debit. You have USD coins. Let's say you have $100,000 worth of it. And then from there, you buy the pairs like BTC or Ripple or whatever you want to buy. And then when you sell it, you go back to the USD coin, and that's like the baseline. That makes sense.
Right. Like for me, like I know like I used to share my portfolio and I was up like 16 grand during what was it? Was it end of December, January?
In December,
Yeah,
January.
Right. So like around that time, like I was up 16 grand. So now if I look at it but something that Dollar Will said, I'm a hodler, so I hold and I'm long term with it. So I don't really care about the immense loss that I've had because now that same portfolio that was up 16 grand is negative 2,700. Like, and I just looked at the spreadsheet like a couple minutes ago. So I had like you could say that I've lost all that, and I've even cut down into my principal and lost a portion of my principal. But if I was say a day trader or even a swing trader, I would have gotten out of that position. I would have gotten out of these positions a long time ago, or even gotten to that ran to a safe space like Tether,
right,
and kept it in there and left it there for the long period of time, and would have had my principal plus my gains, and would have been up like X amount of dollars. I think that would have been like I would have been out like 20 grand total, right? Or I would have like 20 grand in Tether. And then now with this Red Sea, I'd buy up everything. So that's kind of that's what it would have happened if I used Tether, but I didn't care because I already knew I was going to hold it long term.
Right. See, all of these strategies, they have a downside. So if don't take this as any, that you should don't take it as, oh, well, then you shouldn't be this kind of trader. You should do it that way. No, whatever strategy you pick, there's some dues you're gonna have to pay.
Yeah, but I'm paying them.
There's no damn free ride, okay? And the worst thing you could do is like jump from one methodology to another. No, you got to pick a struggle.
Pick a struggle.
Yeah, like my spreadsheet looks like not even a Christmas tree.
Another analogy I would say, how housing prices go up and then they go down. Some people, they sell their house and they might sit out for a couple of years. Housing price comes down. They go back and buy the same house or similar house to the one they sold, and they pocket the difference in money. Or they buy a bigger house for less money.
And excuse the brightness. I think I can get this right.
So it's the same thing. You switch house for crypto, but it's the same concept.
Trying to load my spreadsheet here, but it's taking a while to fill in the formulas.
Don't show none of your you want to show online, but
true. I usually don't care, but you're right.
Yeah, let's. But
but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's go ahead to our next article. This is ccn.com.
I'm sorry, Grizzly. We usually have an open mic in the
end.
Time to do
I apologize.
Yeah. No, it's not. We just let you know.
Well,
you'll be able to get it in. That's all we're trying to say. You'll be able.
Right. This is dated July 20th. Coinbase scores major whale for institutional brokerage service report. Excuse me. Industry giant Coinbase has scored a major win for its recently launched institutional brokerage service, as a major hedge fund has begun using its platform to dip its toe into the fledgling cryptocurrency market. Citing unnamed sources familiar with the matter, Business Insider reports that the $20 billion hedge fund, whose name was not disclosed by the sources, began using Coinbase Prime following its launch earlier this year. Perhaps a sign that cryptocurrency is preparing to emerge as a mainstream asset, at least among alternative investments. Earlier this year, Coinbase set up an office in Chicago, a location it likely chose due to reputation as a regional hub for professional trading firms. This provides the firm with the ability to move effectively, offer hedge funds This provides the firm with the ability to more effectively offer hedge funds and institutional clients in-person support and develop personal relationships with traders. Excuse me. The news follows the publication of a report indicating that Grayscale Investments, a New York-based firm that offers a range of cryptocurrency investment products wrapped as traditional financial instruments, is seeing 10 million in new investments every week, 56% of which is coming from institutional investors. Fellow cryptocurrency industry giant Circle has identified a similar uptick in interest from institutional clients. The firm recently reported that it experienced a 30% increase in new institutional clients in May and has seen enough activity from large-scale buyers to double the minimum order size at its cryptocurrency trading desk to $500,000. As CCN reported, a growing number of hedge fund billionaires have made personal investments in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Though with Peter Thiel being a notable exception, most of these visionaries have not allocated capital from their funds into this still nascent asset class. Just last week, Mark Larcy, who runs $9.6 billion asset management firm Avenue Capital Group, revealed that cryptocurrencies comprise about 1% of his estimated $1.7 billion in personal net worth. He further predicted that the Bitcoin price could reach $40,000 within the next 3 to 5 years. All right, I know Dollar Will chomping at the bit on this one, so go ahead.
1% of a billion.
All right. Hello. Am I think that anybody want to comment on this one?
Yeah, well, 1% seems like a little bit, but that's actually a lot because these guys have hundreds of billions of dollars under management. So
yeah, what is 1% of a?
Okay,
isn't that like 10 million or a million? I'm trying to think about
1% of a, I think it's like
might be 100
like 10 million.
I think there's 100 million is like 10%.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so
You're
it
right.
should be.
You're right. So it's 10.
So it should be 10 million. Jesus.
Yeah.
right. So for them to invest even that amount is a lot. So, but
yeah, it's substantial.
Right.
But that's the thing that's been. I mean, we've been hearing about that over and over again, and then we've even on like other hangouts we've talked about like the new monetary system, whether this one will be adapted or not, which remains to be seen, but probably won't be. It might be just be like a system maybe running in parallel, depending on who takes it up, and how that battle is won. But we've seen so many articles about this, and a lot of that information is what's been driving the market. And I guess what would you call that? What is the reverse of FUD? Like, I guess like instead of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, this is like a positive thing. But you always hear about these things that rarely, if ever, come through and show themselves in the market.
You talking about when there's optimism? You talking about irrational exuberance?
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's a nice term. So yeah, irrational exuberance. But we've been seeing reports of this for months now. So to me, it's kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, when I hear that, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, we could just sum that article up with, again, what's our mantra? They're here. That's it. They're here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to actually do something, but they could be doing things, like even though the price is getting driven down, and I've even heard reports that like where you see Bitcoin at right now is fair market value. Like the market has decided that is the value. Everything else that was before it, that was just pumped up.
Well, I think
we'll see.
Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say that Dollar Will was predicting that by Labor Day you should see a tanking of Bitcoin.
Yep.
So I think you may see a pulling down of other coins by that time. But what I'm saying in reference to Coinbase is that's Coinbase is supposed to be picking up other cryptocurrencies as well, which is going to make it easier for everybody to buy in.
Mm. So you're saying these are foundational moves?
I think so. I think now is the time that they're jumping in before that holiday.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, they have these firms. They have clients that they're hodlers too. Not everybody's a chart reader, and they're conditioned to be long-term investors. So they're not. They will if this thing drops 50%. They know, these are experienced investors. They know that they are in a volatile area.
So to the brother's comment earlier, as far as the market being the cryptocurrency market, possibly getting saturated, becoming saturated, whatnot. What dictates the rise and the fall of these currencies at its basis? I mean, it's based on what? They rise and fall based on what?
Speculation.
You'll never get a clean answer to that.
Yeah.
You got technical traders, that's me, and then you got fundamental traders here
That's
too.
me.
So we will fight 99 years over that one.
Hey, and I'm a enthusiast, so I go off of somewhat feelings. Like I represent that, I guess you'd say, But I also look at it from a software standpoint too, because then FUD and then other news, because a lot of people are digesting And you also got to look at the way people are digesting all this information and what's coming out. And a lot of it's off of Twitter. So people are trading based off of Twitter news. Like, it's kind of like going back and forth with your favorite rappers, or your favorite rappers going back and forth off a Twitter beef, and that's your excitement. And that's kind of what you're seeing. Like,
and to what Young Grizzly, what you were saying, I can test that, because when Litecoin was $350,000, and Charlie Lee, which is the creator of Litecoin, he said he's gonna sell he sold all his Litecoin. When he now said on Twitter, the price of Litecoin dropped, because people are saying, well, if he's selling all his Litecoin, what does he know that he's not telling us? Oh, well, or people were saying, well, if Charlie Lee is not into the whole Litecoin, he's the founder of Litecoin, why should I do it? So it's that,
it's a loss of faith, right?
Right. So these are different answers to your question, Pring. People, we don't know. We don't know.
I would take like maybe this would be a dollar will mindset type answer. If I may, the market's just not mature enough, and I've learned that by listening to like Dollar Will BGS in the past, where they say things like this, like, "Hey, we've seen this before," but this market is so immature that we're going a lot off of feeling, and or you could just say speculation would be the technical term, I guess. But
is it, and this is where I get lost. It's based on this blockchain technology that solves math equations, whatever. Just giving an allowance for not getting that completely right. So is that thing, the blockchain thing, the mathematical thing, is that something that's being, as it gets more adopted by the general society, then this becomes more stable, more predictable? If that's the foundation of it, if it's based off of that, is there any improvement metric off of that to say, hey, the blockchain's doing better, the world's coming around to, get on blockchain's doing more, it's over here, it's over there, it's over everywhere?
Okay.
So,
well, let me challenge you to focus your question. Do you want a fundamental answer or a technical answer for every question?
I think we should give them all. Well, if we have time.
Well, that's fine, but I want him to know what he's asking for, so when he gets it, he knows the frame
fundamental,
how to receive the information.
Fundamental.
Okay, go for it. So I'll sit out.
Okay. Well, Mike, did you want to say something?
I'll talk from an enthusiast standpoint after you.
Mike, what's good, everyone?
What's going on, Ulysses? What's going on?
Hey,
what's good?
What's up,
Mike V? Did you want to say something?
No, I was going to say the reason why Bitcoin is so popular because it was the first. But what drives a lot of the currencies or the crypto coins and tokens is that the technology that it's built on. So Bitcoin was built on the very early versions of the blockchain, which is 1.0, and what you're seeing with Ethereum and EOS and IOTA, and a couple of the other new variants that are coming out, is that they're built on new versions of the blockchain, 2.0 and even 3.0 coming out probably by next year. That's actually driving the value of the currency itself. But Bitcoin is, because it was the first and it's so popular and it has that household name, that's what's keeping it up there. It's kind of like Sony. Like Sony was really good back in the day, but you probably wouldn't buy a Sony, a Discman at this point. You just go out and go buy an iPhone or some kind of iPod or something.
And Prince, to disassociate the mathematical thing, the mathematical equation is not tailored to Bitcoin or blockchain. The mathematical equation is Bitcoin is built off of proof of work, and just take it as is, proof of work, where people use their computer power as a vote, their computer power to solve mathematical equations in order to unlock more Bitcoin. That's what it is. Their computer power is their voting power. That's what it is.
Computational power also. Yeah, that compute power or computational power, as Mike V stated, is their their payment in a sense, or the worth that they
You know,
put in.
I really hate to simplify the conversation. I could probably find this out on YouTube, but help me out here. So where do those equations come from?
Their guesses.
Those
So
those requests for solutions or computations. Where do those come from? Those equations that the blockchain or the computers with the wattages solve, that translates that they get rewarded for in Bitcoin. Where do those equations come from? Do they come from financial institutions, healthcare people?
no, they come from the actual miners or the compute nodes, and all the compute nodes do is just like randomly get, or they solve the equation. So, but it almost is more or less like a random guess because you don't know what the actual answer is. So you just it's honestly brute force attacking. So it's kind of like guessing the password until you actually figure out what the password is.
Okay.
So the blockchain itself says, "Hey, um, solve me." You know, a simple way of saying it. The blockchain says, "Solve me," and then from there, you just keep on guessing until it says, "Oh, okay, it's been solved." Like you create the key for the lock.
Yeah, I think it would help. I think it would help also later on, as we can at the end we can put up a picture of the dollar chart, and a lot of people think that the dollar is just always going down, and the low for the U.S. dollar was in 2011. We are we are 7 years into a bull run of the dollar, and it's not over. But the way people talk about it, you would think that, oh, it's just falling off a cliff. Now, when you look at a monthly chart, meaning you look at maybe about 40, 50 years worth of information, you see the big downtrend. So in the general trend is for it to fall, and there's fear, I would say rational fear, that it's going to go into a serious death spiral. I would say from my view as a chart reader, that's a technical fact. It's no, and I've never heard anybody disagree with that fact, because it's designed to fall. The dollar is designed to fall.
All right.
So anyway, that's
let's trot ahead in our great chat. This our next article comes from Crypto Briefing. Litecoin price death spiral illustrates pointlessness of LTC. Litecoin has consistently failed to prove its need. This is by Patty Baker, dated July 20th. A few months ago, this publication covered a story on Litecoin's founder, Charlie Lee, who had predicted LTC would become the fourth largest cryptocurrency by total value. And FYI, Stellar has overcome LTC as the sixth largest uh, cryptocurrency today. His prediction of the Litecoin price was based on his belief that LTC would find greater mainstream usage than other cryptocurrencies. Lee argued in a tweet posted towards the end of February that LTC's market cap would surpass that of Bitcoin Cash at some point in 2018. Litecoin's total value at the time was 12.1 billion. Bitcoin Cash was 19.5 billion, and individual coins went for as much as $185. Litecoin is a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency and one of the oldest out there, having been developed back in 2011. When the Litecoin payment application, LitePay, surprised followers with the news that it was planning to roll out Litecoin-ready payment cards in February, the price of LTC shot up to nearly $300. Again, that is an example of fundamental trading. You hear something, you buy the rumor, sell the news. Just for FYI for Ukraine. The much awaited cards were unexpectedly delayed on the date of release. Although endorsed by the Litecoin Foundation, it became clear the LitePay team was in no position to reach any of their publicized milestones. Following pleas for additional funding, LitePay ceased operations at the end of March. Enthusiasm for LTC cooled because of the LitePay debacle. What originally had been a vindication for LTC soon turned into a PR disaster. Litecoin has attempted to start afresh and announce partnerships with Alliant Payments and 10x in an attempt to resurrect the project. So far, these have failed to capture the public's imagination. Having kickstarted the year at 12.6 billion and nearly hitting 14 billion in mid-February, the coin has spiraled downwards. By early April, it had fallen to 6.3 billion and just over 4 billion by the end of June. For over the past 7 months, the Litecoin price has experienced a 61% decline.
Mm.
What a falling Litecoin price shows. It's very easy to become too preoccupied with price. It's an imperfect metric that makes it hard to determine a project's quality. Favorably received by the cryptocurrency community. Stack's value plummeted on the first day of trading. Expectations of 10x growth failed to materialize immediately, leading to mass sell-offs on exchanges. It only takes one to shout fire for the market to go into meltdown. Again, fundamental trading. Lee designed Litecoin to be a fast alternative to Bitcoin, which was long suffered from scalability problems. This would be fine if cryptocurrencies were actively being used as alternatives to fiat currencies, but sometimes the most basic metric is the most important one, especially when the token has specifically been created as a currency slash store of value. Projects launching today in the crypto space tend to have specific objectives. There are cryptos looking to overhaul the world of scientific publishing, build an ecosystem that facilitates easier access to market trading bots, even want to bring greater transparency for the equine industry. When all said and done, the Litecoin price is representative of its value. Lee himself incurred the wrath of the Litecoin community when he disengaged from the project financially. When uh, when the price was around $322 per coin, despite citing a conflict of interest, Lee was unable to convince all critics that his move was 100% authentic, altruistic. That's when he sold all his coins. LTC will continue to sink as investors shift toward projects that are more realistic in their goals. Successful projects aren't those planning. Successful projects aren't those planning to replace the dollar. They're the ones trying to fix problems otherwise unsolvable without blockchain and cryptocurrency. Charlie Lee fired off a catty tweet earlier today, ostensibly to congratulate the Stellar Lumens or XLM community in surpassing Litecoin as the seventh largest cryptocurrency by market cap. I stand corrected. XLM has been in the talk of the town this week because it was the first crypto to officially be recognized by Islamic authorities as a permissible medium of exchange. I did not know that. It is also working in collaboration with IBM to create effective cross-border payment solutions. In comparison, as of today, you can now use Litecoin to buy Amazon gift cards, but only if you're in the USA, which I did not know. The silver to Bitcoin's gold. This year, the cryptocurrency community has learned Litecoin is actually the fool's gold. Whew. Now, who wants first shots at this one?
All right, because I sent that article.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You sound kind of far away, Mike.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I spoke about this before with some of these cryptocurrencies, if not all of them, is that if they can't be used on the ground from a spending standpoint, then they're going to lose their value. They don't because they don't have an immediate purpose. I didn't know Litecoin you can actually buy gift cards on Amazon with it. Um, it it's one of those things that Litecoin you can buy now because it's fairly cheap for what it was 6 months ago. But where do you spend it? If it's not gonna have any spendability, then yeah, it doesn't really serve any purpose on the market at this point.
Now, 2 weeks ago, remember we spoke about how the Litecoin Foundation bought 9.9% of a
That
German
bank.
bank.
Yep.
Now I wonder how that plays into all of this.
You know, if my guess would be if they acquire a portion, a controlling portion of the bank, then they would be using that bank as an actual financial institution. So they would actually pair their product along with the traditional banking products, and that kind of gives it more legitimacy. Like you go into one place and you can do everything from get a deed to your house to open up a crypto account.
Anybody else?
As far as Stellar Lumens, they've been on that track for a while, which is another reason why I got into them. A friend of mine put me onto them, and I liked what they were doing with looking towards borderless payment systems and also branch banking that doesn't rely on actually having a physical branch, where you can probably even have the branch located in a truck of some sort, and the truck just goes around, has a satellite or some type of low bandwidth connection. People do their banking in remote parts of a countryside, most mainly Africa's, where they had their example on their website, and
Now,
you could just go out and do all types of different things there. Sorry.
now that what you just said sound like the article Anti-Gravity sent out about Japan and Japan doing that. Anti-Gravity, can you break that down?
In regards to this article or the Japan one?
No, what Grizzly just said about the Stellar Lumens, how he said what it could possibly be. It sounded like to me the article that you sent out about Japan.
I don't know about Stellar Lumens. I've heard about them. Do you mind?
Oh well, Mike Grizzly just said Stellar. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Restate what you just said.
Well, mainly Stellar is it was the same creator as Ripple or XRP, and when he broke off and left, he created Stellar. But with Stellar, their main thing is much like XRP or I apologize, I always get XRP and then Ripple mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
But and I use them interchangeably. But when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about the actual coin itself and not the network.
Okay.
So with XLM or Stellar Lumens, that's mainly used so you can actually do banking services, but mainly for everyone, not just between banks, not as a fast way to transfer money between banks, but actual banking services for the public or the I guess you would almost say disenfranchised. Essentially, it'd be people that would be far and remote and away from townships, and they would require. Has anybody ever used Cash App?
Yeah.
I mean, I use that quite a bit now. So people in my salon, they actually send me a whole bunch of stuff via Cash App. But it's pretty much like that. It's just mobile banking and true mobile banking. So it'll connect to your account of some sort. But even with Stellar Lumens, you can have, say, like an ice cream truck, think of, or a UPS truck, if you will. And that would have, say, ATMs or some type of way that you connect to it, and then it would relay all your transactions that way. So it just makes transactions for remote areas even that much simpler. And you don't need an actual brick and mortar. It could just be a 4 wheels, and that's it.
Grizzly, there are some of the dispensaries here in California were using something similar. Mobile,
really?
Basically a mobile bank, yeah, to store because you can't keep that money, you can't store it in an actual place, and it's high risk to actually. Yeah, I was gonna say, and then it's high risk to keep it in one place, right? Risk of getting raided, risk of getting robbed, all that. So these guys have these services where they have these armored trucks, and they're basically like rolling banks, basically.
Right. Yeah, Anti-Gravity sent out an article. I'm trying to find it, but it was saying how Japan is going to launch a cloud bank which uses.
Oh, that's GMO Bank.
Yeah, which uses. Yeah. I'm glad you said that because the article I found is the right article. But it's going to use blockchain, IoT, and AI. And you know, just when you said, you know, what Stellar Lumens is all about, I'm thinking, you know, maybe this could work together.
Yeah, Stellar
From what I
Lumens is
remember
all
from the
about.
article, it doesn't. It's not saying they're going to launch a coin as far, you know, as far as I know. But for them, it's more of using the blockchain, you know, in the background and our artificial intelligence, and I think they said IoT as well.
Yeah, it
It's
says,
infrastructure. It's based on infrastructure.
Yeah, they're using that as the, you know, the backbone of their new kind of like online banking system to make it more secure, faster, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But as far as making a coin, I don't see that.
oh no, I wasn't saying they were going to make a coin. I just thought, you know, what Mike said and what in the article I read that you sent out, maybe they
Yeah,
could
as far as
use
the
Stellar
end
Lumens
goal.
as a bank-to-bank transactions. And
Right.
I think I'm saying
Yeah,
this right.
XLM. I guess that the way I would clarify it, if anything, is that XLM is not just peer to peer, but giving giving more access to giving access to more peers. So the person out in the backwaters, they have an actual way of doing banking without having to drive into town 2 hours.
Okay. I actually have to look more into Stellar Lumen because if XLM has been approved by, I think it said, did it say which Islamic body or did it just say a Islamic body? If you can, you know, pull that up.
Yeah, check that again.
Currently, Stellar Lumens from my spreadsheet going at 28 cents.
Okay.
Okay,
XLM has been the talk of the town this week because it was the first crypto to officially be recognized by Islamic authorities. So it don't say which one.
okay. Okay, if they're moving in that direction, that's actually a really positive sign because you know, a lot of Muslims in some of the less developed countries, they avoid the banking system because of, you know, misgivings about, you know, interest, and they try to avoid that kind of thing. So if that can
Sorry.
come in, that will bring a lot of the so-called unbanked into the fold. So that can be
Somebody mentioned usury, anti-usury.
yeah, anti-usury, you know, laws. So if they can get a lot of those people back into or any, you know, banking type system, then that brings a lot of people into being able to do more trade, you know, getting money from family members to, you know, other people, you know, that kind of thing, etc.
And that's kind of
Yeah.
the big thing, even with even with the U.S. The fact that or not the fact, but as if the way I've seen it, and correct me if I'm wrong for people that know more about it than I do, but the reason why the U.S. has been able to spread the wealth even to the extent that it has, which is not everybody, but quite a few, um, for it to do that, it's because so many people have access to banking. And you have, like, you know, you can go down the street and see a Wells Fargo bank branch or Bank of America, maybe even in the same darn plaza.
No, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Were you about to say something, Mike?
No, I was gonna say that that's why I brought up the whole thing about white spaces, because white spaces would allow you to create infrastructure that was you know, wasn't there previously. And what Grizzly is saying about mobile banking, you know, basically taking a armored vehicle and putting a satellite dish on it, you really wouldn't need that with the new 5G rollout, because the whole purpose of 5G is to
Mm-hmm.
extend your backhaul, and it's so accurate that it's accurate down to the meter, so it can provide better visibility to a person who's in, you know, who's in an area that has full of trees, and the trees have too much water soaked into it, so it creates a bottleneck. But 5G takes care of most of the 99% of those issues. And having these white spaces available on the auction block and able to purchase that would actually leverage your infrastructure.
Yep.
All right. Let's go ahead to our next article. Again, no millennium bashing. We have at least 3 millennials on the panel right now.
You know,
Fuck
if
you,
I'm
older
sorry,
guys.
Mike, unmuted.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
What was that, Pre?
Yeah, I thought I had my mic unmuted there. Can I find it? No, I can't. So I'm just gonna have to ad lib. So one of the facts, and I'm not sure where the source was, but it was some research source, was that by a certain year, like either 2020 or 2022, as far as the internet was concerned, more money was going to be spent on security than the revenue that the internet actually generated. If I said
I think Mike V can answer that one for you.
Yeah. So yes, there was going to be the internet. There was going to be more money was going to be spent towards security issues with the internet than the revenue that the internet generated. And I know when it comes to the whole fintech thing and the banking app, it's not this is all anecdotal from personal experience, is one of the hurdles or obstacles as far as is adoption is the whole trust and security issues. I mean, there are people that are quick to, okay, this app will let me transfer. Okay, cool. And, I pay 0.015 less per transaction. They don't try to hit me with this. Cool. I'll go ahead and do it and give them my debit card and whatever. But, for some, other folks, making that jump from one to the other, to the other, to the other. Yeah, you can screen pay with, Samsung Pay, with Apple Pay, with this, with Cash App, with Square, with PayPal or whatever. That trust barrier is the thing that I see when it comes to the fintech and all these mobile apps. To kind of, that's going to be like the main obstacle with scaling them. And again, another anecdotal thing, young lady that I buy my little soaps from here in Atlanta, and she makes the soaps and whatnot. And I think the last time I got, made an order with her, I paid her through PayPal. And then the most recent time, she said, "Oh yeah, we could just use the Cash App." And I'm like, what's that? Because there was a second person that mentioned that to me. And she was like, "Oh yeah, it's cool. I just seen your thing and this and that, whatever." I said, "Okay, just go and just send me the link or whatever." And I just had it on my credit card. And she was like, "No, you have to download the app." I'm like, "Oh shit, I don't want to download another damn app."
I didn't like it, but it's actually really good now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really lean. It's really convenient, I'm sure. But I just wasn't down with downloading that. I'm just like, send me a link. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, "Do you have Square?" Because I remember you have Square, and I use Square. And she's like, "Oh no, the Cash App is owned by Square. They Square part of it." Okay, it's okay, cool. But I still don't want to download another app. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, do you have PayPal? She's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, go ahead and send me PayPal." And she's like, "Well, you ought to go ahead and do it for your business." And I was like, for the market that I target, which is more, the affluent residential market, that's even a harder bite for them to go ahead and make.
Go ahead, download an app.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying for them to, in order for you to complete a transaction,
exactly,
you have to tell your client to go and download an app.
To download an app, it's one thing to pay, but to download an app, and it's not that they're just like behind the time.
It's one extra step in the sales process that really is not required. Like you literally seal the deal, then it's just like, okay, you just download this app and pay me through it.
Yeah. So
to answer your question, Preem. So to answer your question, Preem, there's two forms of security that you're speaking of. One is compliance. So you have PCI DSS, which is payment card industry digital security standard. And then you have cybersecurity, where you have malicious actors who are trying to play man-in-the-middle attacks by getting your financial information from that transaction. The blockchain is supposed to address both of those issues.
Yeah, a blockchain is designed to have trust in it. Right. You don't have to trust anybody to send money, because with blockchain, it's a ledger. It's a immutable ledger which means anybody can see who owns what and who owns this and who owns that.
Who paid somebody what?
Right. So if I owe you money, praying for doing something for me, and all the, let's say, all the keepers of the blockchain agree, well, Lionel is sending praying $40-$50. Okay, yeah, he's sending him some money. You don't need to trust that. I don't want to lose you here. You need to trust that. Okay, he sent me the money. Everybody agree that okay, he sent him the money, so so we're gonna all say, well, Preem owns this much money now, and you're gonna see that.
Not only that, but if you're somebody like Lionel who's into having master nodes, right? Holding master nodes of a given currency, then that means that essentially what you do is you're a person who hosts a copy of the ledger, right, locally, right? So that you actually expand the visibility of the ledger even greater. So there's even like an incentivized role in all of this as well.
That's even a less chance for that ledger. It's called an immutable ledger. It's even less chance for that ledger to be tainted with, because everybody agreed that okay, all this money is digital. Lionel sent Preem $40. I can't then go back and say, well, no, I didn't. Well, 257,932 people says that you did. So you can't say you didn't. You got 257,000.
And they all can't be liars.
Let me ask a quick question as it relates to cryptocurrency. So you have this group of people that actually trade in cryptocurrency, that are actually in the game. They trade in it, they understand it, they move it around. Then there's this other market to where it can be used as a means of exchange for services, goods. Some people accepted Bitcoin, some people accept Litecoin, some people accept this and that. My question, if you had to guess on a percentage basis, what percentage of those people that you would say actually use cryptocurrency as a means of, as a currency, as a means of value for goods and services?
Extremely small.
That do not engage in the trading of it, that don't have that awareness, that micro level awareness of it, that are just laymen.
That's even smaller.
The
people that actually use it on a regular day-to-day basis, enthusiasts, optimists, evangelists, it's only small because, or it's that small as it is because it's hard to. You can't use it everywhere. Like BTC is accepted, but not accepted everywhere, and its acceptance has actually gone down because of the actual cost of doing a transaction. So there's no point in doing it. Like you pay, $15 in Bitcoin or BTC, or sending anything less than $100 in BTC is worthless. It doesn't make any sense because the amount of tax, in a sense, that you get from the cost of sending it over the network.
It's in its infancy, though, the whole industry. So
right,
no standardization. There's a lot of volatility. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. But
there's no regulation.
Yeah, that too. No regulations. So
there's no regulations or standards set, which is part of the problem with the crypto market as it is. Nobody wants to follow each other, or follow the next corporation or organization or startup. So you have a lot of people just basically saying, well, it's decentralized, so we don't need to talk to each other about anything. It's extremely liberal in that sense.
And that's actually changing, especially in places like Puerto Rico, where they've had such a big flocking. A lot of Bitcoiners have flocked down to Puerto Rico. And the big thing now in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies growing up, just jumping off of what Anti-Gravity said, but in growing up and going through the teething process, which is the pain, now they're looking at it having its own personality or governance. And it's starting to, that is the big talk now, like governance. It's been out for so long. Now they're talking about, hey, this shit needs to be regulated, or this shit needs to have this go on because we've lost so much and it's become somewhat of a waste.
Wait, so so that's what came out of that large crypto symposium that Max Kaiser was at, and all those people were there for like
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he did he did shows for maybe like 3 straight weeks from Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
like you're talking
about quite a few people.
Yeah,
I
was
didn't
like
watch
right
Max
after
Kaiser's content.
Oh yeah, okay. No, it was pretty telling. It was pretty telling because he was there. This was not too long after Maria hit.
Mm-hmm.
So you got all these,
so that's exactly what happened.
People out of electricity and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, the damn crypto sector like descended on Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
like
they're literally buying out the entire
it's
island.
Crazy.
Why?
Yeah, what they're gonna do is they're gonna pretty much buy out that entire island, and
they're gonna buy the island.
Sense, right? And then turn that into a hub.
Yeah, crypto hub.
Because like honestly, what they did things like they put up drones, and I think the drones were relaying actual signal.
AT&T had internet drones up in the air so that there was wireless. Tesla went over there, installed a damn power plant, the whole 9, bro.
Yeah, because essentially the reason, like, if I follow IOHK, and stop me if I'm going too long, but I follow IOHK, which is ADA Cardano, and one of the things, I think his name is Craig Hodgkinson. One thing he said is the reason why we go into places like smaller islands, smaller governments, is because we have less regulation. And in those spaces, they can do whatever they want, test whatever they want, and use those governments in those places as guinea pigs and watch how it affects the society. And then once they see what happens, then they start applying governance, saying, "Hey, we noticed this here, and this is what happened." Sorry,
and especially in a time of disaster. I think who was that? The shock doctrine, Naomi Klein. You never let a good disaster go to waste.
Wait, wasn't that Hillary Clinton that said that?
It was Naomi Klein in the shock document. I think in that one.
Oh yeah, Naomi Klein. Naomi Klein. That's right.
And then what isn't or wasn't Maduro trying to start a crypto there in Venezuela recently?
Yeah.
Oh, he already did.
The Petro.
What I'll do is I'll send you an article. There's an article on CoinDesk about the crypto meeting, and you can read all on it, and they'll go good in depth about it. So, because we got to get everything going before we run 4 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Lionel, real quick, I wanted to screen share and just show a blockchain explorer so that Freem can see actual transactions.
All right.
Okay. So when he was talking about like the actual usage, so this is the usage from GreenMed.io's from their Ethereum based transaction platform. This is all for cannabis. So these are like your most recent transactions right here. So this is for 15,319 Ethereum tokens. This is for 19,914.7 Ethereum tokens. This is for 1,079 Ethereum tokens. Now, wait. So if you are doing the equivalents so at 0.01460, or I'm going to do the exact translation on.
Go to preev.com, preev.com. And
1,000 of the Ethereum, that would be about like $14.
Oh, Ethereum? Okay.
Yeah. But for the person who spent the 1,000 over there, that was about $14 he sent from this one to whoever he sent it to.
Right. So that was probably like a gram of weed or something, right? And then this guy over here, he spent 60,266 Ethereum tokens, right? So you can see right here, this is what we're talking about as far as the ledger. This is it. Anybody can go here. Look at this dude. It's like, well, this is actually 11,000. Yeah, anybody can go here and see what's being transacted anytime. This is from to. This is the wallet that it came from, the wallet that it went to.
And if you watch closely enough and you're really into it and you look at a lot of these block explorers, you can see when big whales and institutional investors are really buying in.
Yeah.
Because you'll see a high volume of one coin, like the whole thing with Ripple. I think somebody bought 9 million Ripple or I think it was like 9 million Ripple a month ago.
Wow.
And that created a whole flurry of like, oh, okay, I wonder who did that. Buy. So that's the whole
Same
feeling.
thing happens in the stock market. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because now you see that ledger. So the ledger is accountability is I guess the synonym I would use for that.
Like I said, we all have access to see what's going on Green Mist, with all Green Mist transactions. We have no business saying that, right? As far as traditional banking goes. But in this, we all can pull it up right here and see.
Right. And the thing is, because the addresses are hashes, you don't know exactly who it is.
You don't know who it is.
You just know that it was done.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I will go. Thank y'all for having me. I gotta go mop floors.
Hey,
you dishwasher.
I do it because I get paid. Yeah, exactly, right?
It's
an honest living.
I'm still here. Thanks for coming through, Grizzly.
Hey, Grizz. Hey, if you're still up, we'll probably be on later.
We'll probably be on,
hours.
Okay, I mean, if, when we're not on air, we're still,
hit the link.
Just hit the link.
I appreciate you. I wish I could stay longer on this, but I have to go pick up the kid that I hired, so I got to pick him up and then take him down and clean these floors. But I might jump on.
Look at you hiring people and stuff, you rugged individuals.
I know. Hey, don't curse at me.
All right, see you.
All right, man.
Rugged individual, don't curse at me.
All right. This is from. Oh, go on. All right. This is from America.cgtn. Millennials caught in U.S.-China trade war crosshairs. This is by Mark Neal, dated July.
I have it up. You got it up?
Yeah. Do you want to see it?
I'm looking at the Hangout screen. I don't see it on there.
Hold on, let me try
there it is. There you go.
You got okay. This is from July 10th. The Trump administration.
It's still there. You go. Okay, now it's up.
Okay. The Trump administration has already slapped 25% tariffs on $34 billion worth of Chinese tech goods, but some of the items on the list include products heavily enjoyed by a younger generation. Caught in the crosshairs of the trade war, U.S. smart tech that's manufactured in China. Electric scooters, smart bulbs, and smart thermostats all face a 25% tariff at the age of 18. At the age of 18, Tiffany Zhang became a venture capitalist. Now at 21, she runs a company that gathers market intelligence on teens. We grew up on these smart products, making our lives so much easier and so much faster. Zhang, CEO of Zebra Intelligence, said, "These tariffs will impact. This don't sound right. These tariffs will impact kind of which products we will continue buying if prices go up, which is a huge concern for companies and customers. Another popular trend among the young that could take a hit: vaping devices. China makes the vast majority of what are called vape box mods, which actually have computer chips in them. Those devices greatly reduce the cost of vaping. It's a little concerning that it could impact the industry more so on the hardware side of manufacturing vapes, or in the case of e-cigarettes, mods as well. Mods is what we call them," said Cameron Dingler, manager of San Jose Vape. "Just because a lot of the hardware is manufactured in foreign countries. But in Silicon Valley, numerous companies rely on manufacturing in China to bring down production costs in order to take on the competition. And that can be especially important for startups. Silicon Valley-based Amino Capital has invested in more than 100 startups. That includes being the first investor in Candy House, which created Sesame, a device that can be placed on almost any type of lock to turn it into a smart lock. Candy House is hoping to move manufacturing to China, but uncertainty caused by the tariffs is making the decision harder. For them to be more competitive, it's more important for them to lower the cost. Larry Lee, founding partner of Amino Capital, said, and if the companies can manage the costs really well, they they can grow really well. And they will increase the staff in US and Taiwan and China. Though Lee is optimistic about the trade dispute being resolved, he says in the meantime, both countries lose out. In the short term, definitely impact China more. But over the long term, the US benefits the most from the global economy and the global trade, said Lee. Over the long term, it's going to impact the US. Lee believes the tariffs will force China to look for other markets, hurting the US in the long haul by only making it more isolated. All right, I think Mike, you sent this out too. As well, stood this out for you.
Well, it's millennials. Why else? I mean, the article makes a very strong point, and I think I've talked about this last week, that even flat screen TVs have gone up in price. It's ridiculous now. But when it said vape boxes and things like that, those are the exact type of items that millennials are actually using right now. I know anti-gravity. I know he he vapes, so I can only imagine. I can only imagine how that's affecting him.
Wait, Preem and I, we had a nice little discussion about this earlier today because we were talking about how to implement, like, how to leverage, marketing objectives, and how to kind of cross leverage different demographics, with the same product profile. So, this all kind of toes in line with a lot of the discussion that we've been having here lately. Even the article mentioned smart locks and electric scooters and stuff. Noah, does that sound familiar?
Right. So tariffs on all the stuff we sell.
Basically, yeah.
Any comments on?
I wonder if we can blame the baby boomers on this.
Hey, you know what? A lot of those deals. Hey, a lot of those deals, dude, that were in place, we didn't make them.
Okay, let's calm down on that,
don't
ladies.
start nothing, won't be nothing.
Ladies, let's calm down on that, ladies. Now, but on our geopolitics show, I did bring up a video which said, if these tariffs keep going, how China's looking at Africa to hedge the losses on the same products that are being shipped to America. They're going to start shipping to these other countries such as Africa and India, since those are the bigger economies in the future because of the population pyramid. It's a lot of, like, I forgot what percentage of the population is 35 or under. So they're going to start sending this stuff to other countries.
They'll start sending it there because the people are going to use it there, or they're going to send it there as a bypass so they can ship it here.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kareem, to that, even with some of the stuff that Noah and we import, man, look, we couldn't even get around that because with the steel, America still hit Canada with it. So if it comes from China to Canada through here, right? So some of the stuff we get is actually we source it from Canada. So either way it goes, man, we're getting hit.
Right. One world.
What I would say is that there's actually an article. I don't know if I sent it to you guys, but Trump just announced that he's going up to the max. When it comes to the tariffs, so I think there's a 500 billion.
500 billion.
Yeah, he's going to slap a tariff on all exports from China. So the thing is, China, Xi Jinping, he's president for life. He doesn't have to worry about any elections or anything.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
So right now he's doing some long-term strategy planning in terms of trade. So in the short term, they can handle a lot more pain in terms of their economic downturn, as long as it's not too severe. And what he's doing is he just went into doing a free trade agreement with Europe, another one with Russia. He's in talks with a free trade agreement with South Korea. So the big thing is if China is able to insert itself into TPP, then that's all 11 member states in that agreement that the U.S. left. They could, dominate that and
swallow them up.
That'd be a huge, free trade agreement for them. So
the only downside to this is that China only has so much leverage that it can have with the United States in this trade war, because
exactly,
United States doesn't really export anything to China other than soybeans and I think it's like
high tech goods,
not high tech, but some other agricultural goods that they don't really need, because now China has sourced it from Brazil and Venezuela and a couple of Central American states.
Right. So in the short term, it was going to be bad, but in the long term, they're going to systematically make the U.S. more isolated, because the U.S. has pissed off everyone. So they're going to go into the arms of China and Russia, as well as their investments in Africa and the Near East.
All right.
Well, just to state the obvious, just for people listening, this is what happens when you have a surplus. I mean, we're so used to having shortages of things, but this is what happens is when there's a surplus of things. You don't want you're trying to offload your surplus, and you don't want to take on other your competitors' surplus. So this is not a situation that we normally are aware of when it's happening. So so the market overreacts both ways. I think that's the short of it. When there's a surplus and prices go too high, and the market reacts irrationally when there's great demand and things are and the supply can't meet it. So we can profit from it either way.
All right, let's get on with this. Our next article comes from CCN. MasterCard wins a patent to link cryptocurrency with fiat accounts. It's dated July 18th. All right, MasterCard has been granted a patent that grants its rights for a method of managing fractional reserves of blockchain currency. With MasterCard's latest patent, we're getting closer to using our cryptocurrency credit cards to purchase goods. According to the filing, the method addresses the storing of both fiat and cryptocurrencies under one profile. That means as a user, you'd have two linked accounts with your bank, one for your fiat wealth and one for crypto. MasterCard believes cryptocurrency's biggest advantages are their biggest challenges. In the document, MasterCard justifies the patent, explaining how users have increasingly preferred cryptocurrencies to fiat currencies due to its anonymity. The company believes some consumers have chosen digital currencies in an effort to prevent fraud. However, MasterCard argues cryptocurrencies ensure very little protection to the receivers of funds. While traditional fiat payments are processed in a matter of seconds, crypto transactions can sometimes take as long as 10 minutes. If you're trying to pay with cryptocurrencies at a retail store, for example, that delayed confirmation can be an issue. Additionally, the document states people are taken aback by cryptocurrencies and the blockchain because they are so different from traditional payment methods. For that reason, combining systems already in place for fiat currencies with the digital assets could potentially promote adoption while retaining the benefits of decentralization. Fruition? While in theory it all makes sense, it does, as it usually happens with patents, it's not completely clear what MasterCard intends to do. There is no mention of whether this system would be supported by a blockchain of its own. For instance, in an email to CNBC, Seth Eisen, MasterCard's senior vice president for communications, said, and I quote, "We're constantly looking for ways to bring new thinking and new innovations to market to create value for us and our customers and cardholders. Patent applications are part of that process. Taking steps to protect the company's intellectual property, whether or not the idea ever comes to market, end quote. Apart from its convenience to masses, combining traditional payment systems with cryptocurrencies will help combat fraud, MasterCard explained. Hypothetically, the system would use existing fraud and risk algorithms to assess the legitimacy of cryptocurrency transactions while giving the digital assets permission to access the information they couldn't before. Well, okay, such as credit bureau data, historical fiat transaction data, and demographic information. This is just another patent added to MasterCard's long list of blockchain based solutions. Just last month, CCN reported 2 patents for the banking company, one for anonymous blockchain transactions and another for a blockchain travel itinerary bidding system. As Eisen stated, these could be just MasterCard's efforts to secure as many systems and processes as possible without any real plans to develop them in the near future. Now, one thing I want to say about this, even though that this last sentence may be true, I'm starting to see MasterCard as a forward-thinking company in terms of their involvement with blockchain and
forward-thinking or just highly strategic?
Both.
Okay, let me see if I'm getting this right. Are we talking about cryptos or one particular crypto?
They just said cryptocurrencies, which maybe.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this, and when you do too, Mike, does this mean that MasterCard will essentially also be a crypto wallet?
I think what they want is the patent to actually move cryptos over the SWIFT system as well as the blockchain itself.
That's kind of what I read into. Yeah.
Okay, so
I believe they have I believe they have a patent as well. I think Lionel brought this up maybe a few weeks ago about coupons, being able to use coupons over blockchain as well.
Yeah, I think I remember now.
Okay.
Say what you're going to say, Dollar.
I guess I'm, I got to slow it down half speed. Okay, so here's MasterCard, a credit issuing company. And I go to the point of service and I purchase some service with a cryptocurrency that let's say I go to this merchant and they say that'll be X number of Litecoins. I don't have any Litecoins, but MasterCard does. And so I can charge the crypto, whichever cryptocurrency the merchant prefers that I don't own. I can use MasterCard to front me the crypto just as they fronted me the fiat money.
Yep.
And we work it out on the back end. I either pay MasterCard back at the end of the month in crypto or fiat.
Or your fiat. Now, what was the question that you asked at the very beginning?
I think that you guys, I withdraw that question. My question was it a wallet? I guess no, because that's not mine. My wallet is my wallet. I'm just loaning. I'm just borrowing crypto.
Yeah.
I borrow fiat.
Yep.
So they are a credit issue.
And so I'm saying from a retailer standpoint, right? And like you said, if your preference is to accept a crypto, right, then it would behoove MasterCard to accommodate that, right? Because that's already what they do with the fiat markets.
Right, and what the benefit of this is back to what I said earlier, and what Mike said in the very beginning, that there's just so many daggone cryptocurrencies out there. With MasterCard being in it, there's going to be some that MasterCard. We don't know how many cryptocurrencies MasterCard are going to recognize, but enough. Let's just say enough to be an effective. And they're going to MasterCard will recognize enough cryptocurrencies to facilitate trade between us and the merchant.
So
I figured they would probably do something to stay on par with somebody like a Coinbase, right? So when Coinbase says we're gonna be exchanging these cryptos, I would assume
No,
that
I think it's going to be driven by the point of service, like the merchant, whichever ones the market's going to sort it out. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
That's what I was saying earlier, that it doesn't make any sense for a to have a cryptocurrency that can't be spent on the ground.
Correct.
You have to remember that MasterCard has 1 billion users in circulation right now around the world.
Right.
So
Right.
it makes sense to take those users and merge them in with the crypto market as it stands.
Right. So I think
they're bringing the cryptocurrencies to the users as opposed to the users go out and go get their own cryptocurrencies.
Correct. It's like when you're gonna go, everybody goes to the grocery store, everybody goes to the gas station or several gas stations, and everybody pays their utility bill. And I think what's gonna happen is those big companies that everybody's really using, I think they're gonna decide, okay, amongst them, that these are the cryptos that's really going to be functional for us. And then MasterCard's going to follow what the merchants decide to use. And what's the benefit for us is that we don't have to have all these different currencies. We don't have to go to an exchange to get in the right crypto in order to facilitate this transaction with the merchant. We just use the credit card from MasterCard and pay the fee. See, back to the money. There will be a service fee. So MasterCard is going to make more money. Because people are going to use a credit card to facilitate a transaction where they would not have in the past.
That's where, okay, so back to your question. Where are they? What did you say? Are they being opportunistic or are they being strategic? That was the nature of the question.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I was saying were they a wallet, but yeah, opportunistic, strategic. Okay, that's good business.
That's it. I'll roll with all three.
Yeah.
All right.
So I have a quick question. So on that scenario, if you go to a retailer, the retailer wants 300,
Ethereum.
Lumen.
Yeah, 300 aluminum, whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't have it, and you hit up your MasterCard, you hit my MasterCard, be like, hey, just go ahead and swipe this through your thingamajig, and they'll go ahead and kick you 300 aluminum. Mm-hmm. And then now you have to kick back to MasterCard their 300 aluminum. And it could be 60 or 90.
Or money.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Donald.
I'm saying MasterCard might say you can give us lumens or you can give us US dollars.
Right. True that. So it almost seems like it's like, when folks short stock. So who rides that who's going to take that ride on the volatility of the aluminum price? Because the cost for that good at that date is set, but the cost of that aluminum that MasterCard paid for it could fluctuate between the time when you bought it to the time that you actually clear that debt off of MasterCard's books. So
can I answer that?
No, okay, please. I could be completely wrong.
No, you hit it. Here it is. Look, I don't mean to offend anybody, but my close personal friends know me. I have this concept called the stupid tax. Okay. And that is, when you pay for being stupid. And if you don't know how to read charts and you pay that bill at the end of the month with the lumen instead of the dollar or vice versa, you're gonna have to figure out every month what's the best currency to use to pay that bill, and your stupid decision will be MasterCard's game.
Do you think MasterCard would probably create some sort of consumer confidence type of thing where they're like, hey, don't worry, we'll take care of it for you. If you have a rolling balance of this and that, we'll do this and take care of that. Don't you think they may have some sort of algorithm or some sort of math actuary that'll account for the volatility aspect of it, where, they need, because what they need is, in order to get adoption or adaptation, they need confidence in the product, or they need to generate confidence on the product, right? So that volatility that premium speaks to is something that's not going to draw people through. So don't you think that maybe on the back end, they'll probably have something to kind of account for all of that as a mask and just say, hey, come use this, just to get that user. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that they're not going to play with the volatility.
No.
So if you bought an item that was $500 for Ethereum, they charge you $500 for Ethereum, and then Ethereum shoots up to 1,000. MasterCard is going to pay that $500. They're not going to pay the 1,000. I think what this is going to do is going to stabilize the currencies that they adopt, because they won't tolerate that sort of volatility.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, but you have to make a decision when you're paying that bill at the end of the month. Which one of those currencies do you want to be? I mean, you know, if you have this one currency and it's skyrocketing, do you really want to spend that currency now, when if you hold on to that particular crypto for another couple of weeks, it's worth a whole lot more? So if the dollar is falling, you want to spend that. Get that. You don't want to have that. You want to push the dollar onto MasterCard. And if the crypto is rising, you don't want to pay the bill in the crypto.
Now, so Dal, look, could you conversely then also see this as like maybe it's kind of like a money management tool, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were to kind of conversely look at it, you can kind of see it as like a instant access portfolio type of currency portfolio type of card. I'm not sure how to.
Yeah,
it's a brokerage card.
It's a money.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Here's the big thing. MasterCard has just become a currency trader.
That's okay. There you go. That's where I'm going with it. Okay.
Or they've become a currency clearinghouse.
So yeah, so then which goes back to my question. Well, I try to figure out who is going to take that ride.
Their users, their end users are going to take the ride because they already have them. You have to remember they have 1 billion cards in circulation around the world.
Think about it, man. It's a. You know, we had spoke to this, you know, some weeks ago about the possibility that Facebook was going to acquire.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No, I know. But we were.
But Preem,
Lionel doesn't want to go there. Lionel doesn't want to go there, dude. Okay, all right.
Preem, when you go to buy your $100 worth of groceries, okay, you just want to get out the store with the food. And so MasterCard's gonna settle the bill for you, and they might tell you honestly, generally, this is what the lumens is worth, and this is what the U.S. dollar is worth. Okay, fine, you get out the store. When it's time to pay MasterCard, that's when you're really gonna have to have a decision. You know, I would say this. No matter what, when you get home, this is where they're gonna make a killing. When you get your groceries home, you better take your butt to the computer and pay that bill.
Pay that bitch right now.
That's right.
No, they won't. I don't think they're going to go that far, right? Because the people who can afford to have this sort of certain MasterCard that's going to have this are the people who can afford to pay. But I think that what you're seeing is the new adoption of merchants around the world who are starting to accept different cryptocurrencies. This makes this MasterCard, instead of just it being US based, it's actually going to be a travel based card where you can use that around different continents and different countries.
Yeah, that you won't have no problems with currency at that point, right? One card, swipe that bitch wherever you're at.
Right. So
if someone is charging something, I mean, at the end of the day, if someone is charging something like $100 and then like, okay, fuck it, I'll just wait till the end of the month. And okay, this $100 cost me $111.23. You know what I'm saying? But then if they kind of pick this thing up, and it's like that $100 is now costing me $136 because not only is there interest, is this or that, because MasterCard has to take that ride. don't know what might happen. This might be a bad month, to take that ride. But like Mike said, I gotta eat it, the end user. It might be like, well, shit, man. I mean, what's the benefit of this? Maybe I'll just start shopping
the benefit will be. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was just going to say your interest rate, your monthly interest rates would just have the inflation will just be eaten up by that.
That was going to be my first thought on that, is that the interest rate is going to. That's what I was saying. There's going to, on the back end, right? How they're going to manage their interest rates from quarter to quarter. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some sort of algorithm that would account for some level of volatility, right? There's going to be something that MasterCard. We have to assume that MasterCard has something on their end, again, because they have, what was it, 1 billion users? Was that what the number was?
Currently, it's 1 billion. It's estimated to skyrocket. It's estimated to skyrocket to 1.5 by 2020.
They're not. Look, let me tell you something. The approach that MasterCard is going to take is not going to be one where they're just going to just roll this out there and then just say, like, okay, you go ahead and roll the dice. Dude, their business is predicated upon consumer confidence. This is going to be one of those things where you, the end user, the MasterCard holder, the only thing you're simply going to do is opt in.
Well, look, that MasterCard position is going to be, look, we still have the fiat currency here like we always did. So if you don't want to use it, you don't have to.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to opt in, man. You're going to opt in. If you already have a cryptocurrency holding, something like that, you're just going to have to submit some information, hit the little opt-in button, you just roll it right into your pre-existing MasterCard account. Let them take care of the rest. I don't even see it. Go ahead, Lido.
Either way, MasterCard is going to make some money off.
They're going to make some money. That's the bottom line.
They're going to make money off people.
I think too.
Go ahead, Mike. Then I want to go in after Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make these 2 points. I think what's going to happen is that this is going to stabilize the market. I don't think you're going to see these wild volatilities of 20, 30, and 40%.
That's the other thing.
It's going to bring. I think it's going to stabilize the volatility of it. And number two, I think what at least what I'm reading is that the patent is actually going to allow the point of sale devices to actually be able to distinguish between a crypto and a fiat, and that's going to leverage the infrastructure for the end user as well as the sales merchant itself.
If you look, it's okay. Lionel doesn't want me to bring this up. Okay, but it's similar to the Facebook.
Hold on. Wait. Let me jump in.
MasterCard rolls something out where you automatically have 1 billion users. It speaks to what Mike just said. You automatically stabilize shit. You got 1 billion users. You got 1 billion. It's an opt-in, dude. Like, what? You don't have to do a whole bunch of anything, right? You just opt in. You know, look, if I'm a MasterCard holder and then all of a sudden I get some notice in my email that says, hey, we got this new cryptocurrency feature, similar to what Robinhood just rolled out, what, a couple weeks ago? Rolled it right out into the app. You don't have to do that.
Well, we'll see on that, but I know one thing that will change in the culture is people, Americans, will no longer be have this presumption that $1 is $1. You know, like the U.S. dollar fluctuates all the time anyway, but people don't. The ones that aren't aware of it don't know that. They think $1 is $1. But it's always moving. So in this world where MasterCard is going to engage in crypto activity as well, people are going to be ever mindful of the fact that $1 is not it's not equal. The value of it is floating, and they're going to know it. They're going to know it like they've never known it. And I don't expect also that MasterCard will be the only card to do this. These other companies are not going to let MasterCard have all the fun because they compete against each other.
No, I was going to say that American Express has also adopted Ripple and XRP. So, as well as Visa. I think Visa has jumped on the bandwagon as well. But to Dollar's point, people don't pay attention to the volatility of the dollar. But they're always talking about is your face on the money?
Anytime you can, man. Anytime you can.
And let me say this also: the when you throw big credit companies like American Express and Mastercard, that's going to increase the volume of cryptos as well. So yeah, big volume like you've never seen before. These numbers for crypto volume is nothing compared to what we're about to see.
All right, let's go ahead and get to our next article. After this, Prima put this on the docket. After this one, we're gonna go to the 3 videos that Dollar Will sent out earlier this week. We're gonna combine those into one, and also to open mic night.
Okay.
This from excuse me. This is from NBCnews.com. Jeff Bezos and Amazon have the advertising industry looking over its shoulder. Amazon has already become somewhat of a corporate boogeyman, and now it could be bringing its industry disruption to advertising. Don't this dude look jacked?
He does look a little jacked. I thought he used to be kind of like skinny.
Yeah, he was. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely taking some tests. Probably about 100 milligrams.
When Jeff Bezos arrives, as expected at the Sun Valley Conference, the year's most exclusive meeting of media industry leaders, he'll know much more about his fellow media moguls than they know about him, and what has them worried, especially as Amazon's advertising business picks up. Amazon's growing advertising business is poised to challenge the stranglehold Google and Facebook have on the internet ad dollars, thanks to its growing dominance in e-commerce and growing presence in the media world. Google knows that consumers are interested in, and Facebook knows who you are. But Amazon has what many of the advertising industry regard as the most important piece of the puzzle, what people buy. And the e-commerce giant is starting to capitalize on the data in a big way. It is definitely growing as a media company, but it is surging in terms of ad revenue, said advertising age editor Brian Breaker. The scary part for the marketers is that data is all walled off, and if you want the special sauce, you have to play by Amazon's rules. Amazon still makes the bulk of its money through the sales of goods and its widely used cloud computing business, Amazon Web Service, but its advertising business is growing. In the first 3 months of 2018, Amazon reported revenue for its other segment, which is largely advertising, rose 139% to $2 billion. What's interesting is advertising is not your lead punch, said Michael Kassan, founder of Media Link, an advertising and media consultancy. It is a tiny part of that revenue. It's growing fast. Amazon has already become something of a corporate boogeyman, with shares in other companies dropping sharply anytime the e-commerce giant enters a new industry. The company is known for building businesses over years without profit, squeezing out competitors along the way. Colin Colburn, an analyst at the market research firm Forrester Research, warned that Amazon could do the same thing to the advertising industry. Amazon as a business doesn't like the middleman, Colburn said, and agencies are the middleman. The race for third. Facebook and Google reign as the dominant forces in online advertising, with the two companies expected to account for more than half of all digital ad spending in 2018. Microsoft, Twitter, Snapchat, and Verizon, with its AOL Yahoo unit called Oath, have all been jockeying for third place in the worldwide digital advertising market, which is projected to grow 61% next year to 316 billion, according to digital advertising research firm eMarketer. But eMarketer projects Amazon will leapfrog them all with the familiar Bezos-approved strategy: patience in the short term with an eye on dominance in the long term. Amazon finds itself in fifth place among the top digital ad sellers in the US and is on track to be number 3 by 2020, surpassing both Oath and Microsoft. Monica Pertz, eMarketer's senior director of forecasting, said in a March report, "It remains an open question as to when Amazon will take advantage of its significant reach and dominance in rich shopper data to ramp up the placement of ads in other areas. A big part of Amazon advantage is its use as a search engine. That's true. With one consumer survey finding almost half of the product searches start on Amazon rather than Google. The company can serve up search ads alongside its search results that point consumers to sponsored posts of just about any product. Excuse me. Those ads show up alongside products labeled Amazon's Choice and Bestseller. Amazon's own products called Amazon Basics, usually the cheapest. The New York Times has reported that Amazon has around 100 private label brands. I think Amazon will do retail search and take Google to the cleaners, said Alex Groot, an analyst at Cinco Securities, a financial firm, said on CNBC in April. Slowly over time, you will use Amazon as your retail search engine rather than Google. Ad infinitum. Amazon has more ads to sell than just search terms. Amazon's growing media business, which is paired with its 100 million strong Amazon Prime subscription program, now includes movies, TVs, and even live sports. Amazon, man, they're going to take over TV too. Amazon last year sold local ads around its Thursday night NFL coverage at 2.8 million per package. Amazon sales team is also selling ads on the homepage of Amazon Fire tablets, Kindle e-readers, and the Amazon-owned movie database IMDb.com. I did not know they own them. It also owns Twitch, really, a huge social gaming platform on which gamers play live.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
No. We're not going to do this tonight. We're not going to pookie in.
Holy shit.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
No, remember we were talking on another show that big money, they swallow stuff up. That's what happened.
We just got a few more to go. We just got a little bit more to go. It also owns Switch, a huge social gaming platform on which gamers play live with other people around the world, and which provides a forum for users to talk about their techniques. Twitch has an average of almost 1 million people streaming its content per quarter and sells advertising to hard-to-reach young men. And Amazon is also moving into Google's turf by showing ads across the internet via what's called programmatic ad buying and an automated placement service. Amazon also has direct relationships with publishers to serve ads on their sites. There's Alexa. Man, I forgot about Alexa.
There's Alexa. Yeah.
Man, the company doesn't yet sell ads on its voice assistant, but there are indications that it is on the horizon once Amazon can figure out how to do it.
Wait. I have a scenario. I don't mean to interrupt. You're in your kitchen. You're cooking. And then you go into your cabinet. And you go, "Fuck, I'm out of pepper." And then Alexa goes, Why don't I just order some real quick? And then a drone brings it to you within like 10 minutes.
Okay, I understand that. Let me get through this. DigiDay reports that Amazon has invited ad executives to ponder the prospect. The ability for Amazon to sell ads across a variety of media and to a wide spectrum of advertisers give the company visibility in just about every industry. For Amazon, that means being able to optimize its advertising offerings while also making its system even more attractive to consumers. Seth Dallaire, Amazon Media Group's vice president of global ad sales and marketing, said in an email, a devil's bargain. For advertisers, the short term opportunity that Amazon offers is offset by the realization that they could be providing the company with the data and market power it needs to eventually run them out of business. Advertisers that spend money to display their products on Amazon's search page give up data about their customers in return
Evil
for sales.
bastards.
But those same marketers are also helping Amazon build a better mousetrap. They help by learning more about customer intent.
Evil bastards.
Man, it's some mob shit.
Man.
How much are you educating them? And could sharing your data benefit your competitors? Asks Amanda Richmond, CEO of the ad agency Wavemaker. Richmond said that Amazon could end up putting marketers in the same position as Google and Facebook did, with little leverage in the market. The consensus is you are giving up a lot of control, she said.
Oh, that's the consensus?
Yeah, that sentiment is growing in the advertising industry. Marcin Sorrell, the former chief executive of the global ad firm WPP Group, wrote in an article for Wired's UK magazine that Amazon is now the dominant concern in the advertising industry. The question I always ask my client is, what keeps you awake at night? He wrote, almost without exception, the answer that comes back, whether I'm talking to a retailer or a brand, is Amazon.
Yep.
Dude, if Amazon is keeping you up at night, man, that's a problem. Like as a person.
Hey, man of tomorrow, what's going on?
Oh, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Monty?
What's happening, bro?
What's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
Hotel. Did you listen to the article?
Yeah, I did.
Man,
I think
but when Amazon bought the Washington Post, that did it for me, right
they
there.
bought the
Go there, Dollar Will.
Yeah, when they bought, you buy like, the biggest newspapers in America is like with the New York Times and Washington Post. When you buy that, it's like, okay, they come to party.
Now Preem sent this articles to us. What made this stand out to you, Preem?
The marketing sector is my sector, and I've been deemed the curmudgeon, that didn't get with the times, but now I'm coming seem to be the canary in the coal mine that was telling these cats towards at the end of the article where the headline, the devil's bargain, for advertisers, a short-term opportunity Amazon offers is offset by realization that they can be providing the company with the data and market power that it needs to eventually run them out of business. I was telling these cats when I was jumping on the Facebook with the custom audiences, Facebook's would tell them, upload your customers' names, their addresses, and we will go ahead and find and mirror like-minded people like that. I said, dudes, don't even fucking do that shit. Because don't give up your data, because your number one asset in your company is your customer. It's like, no, they was thinking their asset was actually the inventory. Now, this is in the B2C market. And I always tell you, your asset is not your inventory, it's not your equipment, it's not your office building, it's not your faxes, it's not the shit that you put on your balance sheet, you know what I'm saying, or that you give to your account. Your number one asset is your customer. You know what I'm saying?
That list.
That list. Don't give that list up. If you can, do not give them that list, because they can mimic it, whatever. But and Amazon just, I can't knock them. You know what I'm saying? I can't hate the game. They basically played sleeper cell in multiple industries, just laying dormant. They did the same thing in the advertising industry, and this whole thing can be summed up at the very top in 2 sentences or 3 sentences. Google knows what customers are interested in. Facebook knows who you are. But Amazon has what many in the advertising industry regard as the most important piece of the puzzle: what people buy.
That's right.
You always go after the buyers, the lookers, what they're interested in, what they're clicking on. That's fuck all. It's who's buying. If you can drill down and find out who the buyers are, and that's why Amazon has the best. They do have the best data, but the problem is, and again, I can't knock them, is 3 sentences down. The scary part for marketers is that the data is all walled off. And if you want the special sauce, you have to play Amazon. You have to play by Amazon rules. Amazon has that shit walled off. They don't give it up to nobody. And with Amazon Web Services, they even have a side door to get into other motherfucker shit. All other motherfuckers' data who aren't even selling on their platform.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say not necessarily that AWS has these side doors. What I was going to say was that I think at some point there'll be some legal ramifications brought in place for antitrust violations that Amazon is playing around with, you know, with all these different services and platforms that they're sharing data with that they're not actually making available to either the federal government or law enforcement.
Okay, can I jump in and say, can you guys make it really plain when you guys say things like side doors? Make it plain.
Basically, you're not supposed to have access, but you do. And when you're talking about AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, the whole purpose of the platform is to host your data center in the cloud or host the services in the cloud. And Amazon right now has the biggest cloud platform for right now. Next year, you'll probably see Microsoft take over. But Amazon also Jeff Bezos signed a contract with the federal government for $500 million in Amazon Web Services to host government data as well as their computing platform.
Okay, so you're saying that Amazon is not supposed to measure that data?
No. What the regulations that are in place for HIPAA, GLBA, SOX, and the SEC as well, basically stipulate that this data that you hold has to be protected. So if there's side door opportunities for going between platforms, that's a violation within itself. Amazon doesn't want to hold that sort of violation in their portfolio.
So you're saying by being like a cloud provider, they're supposed to function, I got to bring it back to old world. They're supposed to function like a common carrier, like the telephone company.
Exactly, and any sort of breach, any sort of breach of policy would destroy them, just like Facebook with Cambridge Analytica. So.
Okay.
So I mean, it's one thing if you decide to sell product and services on their site and they do your fulfillment for you. You just send your customers, go buy from Amazon. Amazon know who your customers are, they're delivering to them. They have that data. But then it's another thing to take part of them making your site functional if you're like selling, you know, internationally, and then being able to see what people are buying because they're enabling that traffic to go seamlessly. There's no downtime. There's no ClickUps. People aren't dropping off. And for them to be able, you know, because they're making that function happen, it's like, okay, we're kind of taking you at your word that you won't see who these motherfuckers are buying, and you won't kind of take that data and cross-reference it with your data and layer it over that, so you can kind of market to people better. That you aren't gonna go ahead and do that. So they have the ability to see that, but they are not supposed to.
It's called data correlation, and that.
Go ahead, Mike.
Right, I was going to say it's called data correlation, and the data that they would need also involves PII, which is personally identifiable information. That's not supposed to be leaked out with the new regulations in Europe, as well as some of the new regulations coming out in the United States. I know in my state, we're the first state and probably the only state that has data laws in place that prevent any sort of leakage and cross-pollination and cross-correlation of data from technology companies such as Amazon.
And the thing about Amazon when it comes to consumers and retail, and that's why I saw the retail things in there, and that's why I threw this in there is because I mean when it comes down to it, they honestly, you know, love it or leave it, they have the best data. They've got the best data as far as consumers, what they buy, and how to use that data, you know, as far as marketers or advertising. And they really have been a sleeper cell. I know in my industry, like they came up with this thing, Amazon Home Services for like service providers, and they will send the link to sign up for it. And man, it's not even it is. You almost are being an employee. You almost had to be an employee of this. I said, fuck this shit. I saw the little. I was on the second or third screen. Oh yeah, I mean you have to send in business license, insurance, everything goes through them, and then it gets funneled through you. You are essentially working for them. So I mean, look, when they say walled off, that's kind of like a sugarcoating it. Jeff Bezos ain't playing. Who ain't playing? He is not playing. He is out for blood, dog. He is.
Well, don't forget
blood.
that. No, don't forget that Jeff Bezos also owns Blue Origins as well, which is a
space
low orbit space company, basically for space travel.
Yeah, and he said he's gonna have his first civilian thing in the next 2 or 3 years. And then I don't know how I missed it. The whole thing about Twitch, I heard it on something else. I think it was Sticks and Hammer or whatever. That YouTube kind of dropped the ball with the whole gaming streaming thing because they kind of had that going, and then Twitch took it over. But I did not fucking know that Amazon owned Twitch.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so that whole market, they got that whole market. As far as the whole gamers and yeah, man. Shout out to the dude, man. So now, because of the organizations that I'm in, it's like direct response marketers. Some of them are consultants. Some of them, like myself, they're business owners that actually learn how to do this stuff. We see Amazon for what it is, and they aren't the 500-pound gorilla, but we know we have to preempt them. They don't fear us, but our job, our task is to make some type of proposition to the consumer as to if they're selling a widget or a gadget, why would you pay $3 or $4 more for a $20 product versus getting it on Amazon? And that responsibility is on the business owner to make that proposition to that buyer and that seller, because Amazon is here. I mean, they're coming after the products, they're going after the home services. They're already there. They're in the pharmaceuticals, they're in the groceries. Now they're going after the marketing. So the guy's going everywhere that he absolutely can't go. But and he's got good leverage. He's got the leverage of price.
So MOT, I got a question. MOT. Are you saying that whereas most companies try to dominate a market, but Bezos is trying to basically dominate the economy?
Yeah, and if we had any sense, we would have stopped this stuff a long time ago. But
because
capitalism
he's in every industry. He's in every industry. The way, he's like, if people are buying and selling, I want to be in the middle of everything they're buying and selling.
I mean, let me tell you how serious Amazon is. Like, I sell a lot of stuff online through Amazon, and slowly but surely, I would be selling a certain product, making a certain amount of money a month. 2 or 3 months later, Amazon is selling the same product.
So they let you develop the market for the product,
and then they just take it over. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They're doing that kind of thing.
So that means their hit rate is very high because they only the new ventures they get into are things that basically they pimp you to make you do their R&D.
Correct.
And Mano Timor, correct me if I'm wrong, but I asked somebody one time who sold something on Amazon, because again, the asset is the customer. I asked someone one time, I said, well, if you sell something on Amazon and it's through let's say Amazon Prime, and Amazon does your fulfillment, do you get that customer information? And they told me no. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's correct. You don't get shit.
Wow.
You just get a check at the end of the month.
No way.
All you get.
No way.
You ship them.
Yes. What?
Yeah, you don't get shit.
Oh, hey, Dollar Will. Remember when you and Ulysses were talking about? Okay, Ulysses said, yeah, he'll buy like shares of Facebook, and you said no, you'll do Amazon, because this is when we heard Amazon was getting into healthcare.
Right.
And you said Amazon because they are more diversified. in their portfolio in Facebook.
No, what I was talking about, well, I don't want to go there, but I was talking about Facebook with regards to Coinbase. That's what I was referring to. That's what I said.
Before that.
It's the same concept as that I think when you deal with Amazon, you cutting across a lot of commerce, a lot of sectors of commerce. You know, I mean, it's one thing for Facebook. That's social media. That's you know, they're not.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think. Yeah, I think they're kind of like different. They're kind of apples and oranges a little bit.
Yeah, business is done on Facebook, but that's not the primary function of Facebook. Amazon is business all day long. Let's trade some money. What you want? I got it. What you want?
So I mean, I'm not one to go ahead and crime file, but Mike, what you had brought up earlier, I'm just curious. So like, I know right now some folks are like talking about Google's like because Google kind of clamps down on certain groups, and they're like, hey, listen, man, 80%, 90% of the searches are done on Google, so Google, you can't do this because you are it. Will there ever be a certain point to where people look at Amazon and be like, hey, Amazon, I mean, fall back a little bit, give up something, break up, give up something, because you are it now. You know what I'm saying? And you can't be.
There's going to be some antitrust regulations brought up against Amazon probably in the next couple of years.
The European Union. Pay attention to how they're finding people. That's exactly how it should be working here.
MOT didn't they just hit Google for
with 5 billion.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 billion. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'll say this. Somebody that I follow in the marketing field realm, you may even be familiar with him, Scott Galloway, NYU professor. He runs L2 Communications. Okay, I follow him. I've been following him for probably a couple of years on YouTube. So he has like a kind of like a series of marketing videos and doing a market analysis and all that. He's been calling for the breakup of Amazon for I don't know how long. Yeah. And this is you're talking about an NYU professor who knows the market, and he's been calling Amazon like clockwork. He's been calling every single detailed effect that Amazon was going to have on the market. He has called it spot on, and then it has got to the point where he's like, "Look, okay, see, I've called every bit of this. This is the reason why I'm an NYU professor. Number one, number two. Now you know what you need to do. You need to break it up."
Right.
I mean, but fascism is our method of government, so you can't really stop it when people can just have all this dark money floating around in the political process. It can stop bills. It can stop everything. I mean, capitalism is the method of government. Otherwise, there's a lot of stuff that would have changed by now. A lot of stuff would have changed. A lot of companies would have been broken up by now. Microsoft probably would have been broken up if we had a true monopoly, like laws that were actually even being followed. I mean, Jeff Bezos is just taking it all to the next level to where they're going to have to break them up at some point, but he's just going to keep going until they do so. So
why stop? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Michael Jackson, don't stop till you get enough.
But he absolutely has weak points.
Oh my God.
They absolutely are vulnerable. I mean, Amazon absolutely has vulnerable, vulnerabilities. I mean, one of them is there's that whole humanization aspect of it. It can't be there because you can't incorporate that. You can't go and scale that. But they kind of they hedge against that with the whole price thing and convenience. So I mean, it's whatever the product or service is, even if it's more, it's whoever it's going after. If that humanization aspect of it is valued by that target market enough to where they're willing to pay more for it, they just click a couple buttons and get it from Amazon, and all that onus falls on that business owner to see that's the case.
Well, Microsoft has been countering a lot of Amazon's encroachment in some of these areas. They've been working with the small medium businesses. I think there was an article that came out either last week or early this week that refers to Microsoft making partnerships with Walmart as well as other bodegas on the street corners and whatnot to fight against to fight against Amazon. So
Nice.
there,
Nice.
you know, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, at least in this regard.
That's a smart move on their part. They bring it out to the street level. Absolutely. From Microsoft. Absolutely.
The one thing that Amazon doesn't control is the internet service delivery, right? So they're not Comcast, they're not Verizon, they're not AT&T. They don't have the backbone. So
all right. Any what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the 3 videos that Dollar Will sent out earlier. We're gonna put that to next week's hangout, so we can start. We can put those next week hangout. Any other comments before we end the show?
Only comment I got is I'm paying particular attention to Amazon stock. It looks like it's close to something funny happening. They got serious divergence in the volume versus the price, and it looks like it could be topping out pretty soon. So we got to keep our eye on that. So with them being the biggest retailer in America, if Amazon stock has any sign of trouble, I don't care what retailer you own. If Amazon stock starts having trouble, all retailer stocks are people gonna run out of it like that house on fire.
Anybody else?
That's something that's going to be happening pretty soon, actually, for everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Any other last minute comments?
oh,
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the video that I sent was based on Chinese President Xi Jinping going to Africa and talking about investments. So there's some big things happening in Africa financially that that we should be paying attention to. But we'll get to that next week.
Yeah. Well, all 4 of those videos we're gonna add on to next week's document. So,
I'll just say to anyone listening, take crypto seriously.
All right. So with that said, thank you all for tuning in to Money Making Friday. Don't forget to tune in Monday. Monday we talk about specifically space and technology. With that said, you all have a good day.
All right.